Hey everyone, welcome to the Antics and Goose show.
I'm Fancy Antics.
And I'm Trap Goose Gaming. This is the show where we talk about absolutely everything and anything you guys want to talk about. We release a new video every Friday. And we do a live podcast on Twitch. Well, last Tuesday of the month. This one's kind of a special just because we couldn't have recorded it last night because I was feeling a little ill, but now we're back out in full force. So let's get this thing rolling.
Absolutely. Remember, everyone, too, this is the show where we want to discuss your topics. So if you have anything funny, clever, psychological thrillers you want to throw into the comment section below on the videos on YouTube or any of our other platforms of social media, too, listed below there, have at her. It's really fun. We get a good laugh at all the topics you guys want to throw at us, and we'll shout you out if yours is picked for the show. As you guys know, also, we're big on joining the community together, supporting small content creators, small streamers. Basically, we want to get as much as we can for interviews and bringing you guys on the show yourself. So if you're a small streamer, small content creator, we want you on the show. Just let us know you want to be on it, and we're really trying to get that organized and make it a regular thing. And ultimately, it should be a blast. The best one we've ever done. And still, so far, the only one we've done was with Demi, the drag queen, here to chat with us as well. So make sure you guys check out that podcast as well. It's a great time. We really want to do more like it. This is also another special podcast for another reason too, because the last time before we recorded this one, I killed Trap Goose in Dead by Daylight, and he said, "If you kill me, I'm not doing another podcast with you ever." But he's a kind and forgiving soul, so here we are, and we are still doing another podcast, so it's okay. He's forgiven me once again, cooled down, and here we here we go again.
God damn. I mean, hey, I still might hold you to it, but I feel like I owed you this one just because, being ill and all that fun shit. So we'll see. Maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll have a Demi the Drag Queen and Goose show. We'll never know.
True.
Well, let's steal something from Keemstar and let's get right into the news. First off, let's talk about the whole Gina Carano craziness of the Mandalorian being fired and all that fun shit. So I don't know how familiar you are with that whole story and what happened with that.
For the most part, yeah. Like, familiar with who Gina Carano is as well. So stars in the Mandalorian. Gotta forget her character's name, and I shouldn't. Cara Dune.
Yeah.
And this was good in the show and stuff like that. And yeah, so like she's got a lot of traction on social media and stuff like that. Very up against. She'll like fight back with any haters on her about a bunch of different things on social media, I guess. And then there was the last one that was bad, where she tweeted out and Disney fired her for something like comparing conservatives or Democrats, sorry, not conservatives, comparing Democrats to like comparing them to the Jewish peoples of Nazi Germany or something like that. I don't know the exact tweet, obviously. So I know what happened.
Yeah, no, so yeah, that's basically it. She's like an anti-masker. She's very, she's a well-known Trump supporter, and she's very vocal about it. And Pedro Pascal, the guy who plays the Mandalorian, like he actually tried convincing her to like, hey, you got to slow down, you got to watch what you post, and she obviously didn't listen. And so it turned out to being her getting fired over random posts like that. Like that's, I mean, as a content creator, you got to kind of watch what you do. You're in the limelight. You got to make sure you don't post random shit. I mean, I think we talked about this on one of our past podcasts too. You got to make sure if you're posting something, it's gonna be there forever. Shit just doesn't go away. It's so you just got to make sure you watch what you say, and she's been known to be a very controversial person in the past. She actually was a MMA star and stirred up a bunch of shit back in the day with like the UFC before, and she never actually got signed because of it. Before she had a chance, she kind of burnt bridges.
Yeah, true, and seemed to kind of do the whole bridge burning thing again too. Like Yeah, like it's a shame, really. Good actress and stuff too, but it's like you have we did talk about that before too, and it's like what you it's what for better or worse, it's kind of the cost that comes with once you become a celebrity. It's like the whole thing with being paparazzi and stuff like that. You're making a ton of money, you're super famous, and the cost is there's people always wanting to
Yeah,
take your picture and stuff like that. Annoying as hell, and yeah, you have the right to complain about it, but it's pretty much the norm in that kind of that limelight. So and that other cost comes into you do have to watch what you say. Sometimes I do think a lot of the times with culture, like as you would call cancel culture nowadays, some people say stuff and they don't deserve to be
no,
thrown to the wolves for that kind of stuff at all. In her case, like I think in a way I think it's admirable when you're outspoken and stuff like that and screw everybody else what they think and stuff like that. That's what I think, and you just poke the bear a bit. I
yeah,
can respect people like that too. And like even what she said in the tweet, it's like okay, that's fine. You should be in some regard okay to say that, but not at all without consequence. You want to say something like that, you're on a court. You gotta
yeah.
understand there's going to be consequences that come with it.
Well,
Um,
and with that, like you can't consider yourself like repressed like the Jews. Like that's not how it is at all. I don't see them being held in concentration camps or anything like that. It's or like drug out of their houses. It's like that. They're it's the opposite really. Like with the storming Capitol Hill and the like. I mean, like the Proud Boys, the Trump supporters are now terrorists in Canada. Like
yep,
it's
pretty much like that.
it's a crazy world that we live in, and especially like you said with that cancel culture. You can't, especially with a big company like Disney, right? You can't work with them. Like the mouse rules the world, man. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so with that being said, it's like you got to watch what you say, and you have like one of the biggest opportunities you could probably ever have. It's something that's putting you like from being like a B list to an A list celebrity,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So it's
Big
like
AAA title. Yep.
it's don't bite the hand that feeds you, and obviously Disney's got the past history, especially with the World War II, and known to be back then racist and all this other sort of shit. They obviously don't want to associate with that anymore. They're trying to push away from that.
Yeah, and can't blame them for that and stuff like that because on the same note, you know, Disney's customers first.
Mm,
It's a public image that they want to maintain
yeah,
for their own appearance and stuff like that. Maybe half of them agree with what he said. Let's say they do or should or whatever.
yeah,
But it's as a public company, you can't do stuff like that too. As a celebrity or a public company, have a lot in common in that sense.
yeah,
Um, and I'm a guy who appreciates like the honesty and stuff like that, and how people should be able to be blunt and say what they want to say. But I'm a logical thinker in that sense that you can't say something and have it like and not think out what you're saying. Like if you want to
yeah,
say something, you better have facts to support your points. Like that, I think it's like that tweet specifically is dumb that you said where it's like you are comparing these people to Jews of Nazi Germany. There's very little that you can actually consider that to be accurate.
yeah,
Like you want to compare to maybe people who were, you know, um, killed and pillaged back in Genghis Khan's days. You can maybe make that argument, like some horrific, near genocide or those types of things. But modern day conservatives to Nazi Germany is
no,
not even close to the same thing. So that's just dumb. You say stuff without any backing to it. I don't know to what get likes or something like that. Or if you actually believe that,
well, and I mean it could be very misleading too. It could have been just something that like popped into her head and didn't think about, just tweeted it out. It's like you got to watch, and that's, I mean, that is something that we're gonna like that we can talk about like later on, the whole would you rather thing. It's would you rather have uh what is it, not be able to speak or say everything that comes to your mind.
that's what's coming up later. Eh? Cool,
Yeah,
good.
so like it's that kind of stuff. And I mean, and on that note of canceling and Disney and stuff like that, so the last Jedi was trending on Twitter today. because Ryan
Oh,
Johansson apparently still has a trilogy in the works with Star Wars. So the guy that ruined the newest trilogy of Star Wars is working on another trilogy with Star Wars. So let's talk about people that should be canceled.
thank you. Yeah, fully agree. Fuck Ryan Johnson. Um, yeah, he's an okay director, author style type of
Yeah,
person, where if he makes his own movies, which are severely overhyped, but he's got his own stories like that. So yeah, okay, it's an alright show, I guess.
yep.
When you mess with something, a formula and stuff like that, and try to make it your own, that's when you have a problem, as many creators will do. Um, but yeah, I don't obviously like we can talk about this for hours on how just awful of a movie The Last Jedi was, and most of the world agrees. But what strikes me as odd, if like it was obviously up in the air, as if it was still continuing. Hey, what's going on with Ryan Johnson's trilogy? All these extra trilogies and apparently still in the
Mm-hmm.
works. If that's true, what I don't get most of all from that is Disney's stance on that. Like, Last Jedi was generally hated by most of the fans who are your audience, and Disney likes people who make them money.
Yeah.
So if every Star Wars show pretty much after The Last Jedi has tanked pretty well, like not made nearly as much money as they were hoping for,
Mm-hmm.
and mostly because of Ryan Johnson, why do you think that you're going to be profitable off of something he's doing for your own franchise? That like I don't, it'll of course make money, and it'll probably almost certainly above above costs, but I can't see a dramatic number above that.
Yeah.
Um, like I don't like Disney. Obviously, they're unaware because they made all these decisions on what they're doing in the first place on this, and whoever and people who are in charge of the Star Wars section are, for the most part, incompetent with it. Um, with LucasArts and stuff like that, or
Mm-hmm.
Lucasfilm, I think. Um, maybe we hit this at any angle, so I don't really have something to talk about. So I'm not sure what do you think about it?
Well, with me, honestly, The Last Jedi wasn't necessarily the worst movie on the planet, but it's definitely, when it comes to Star Wars movies, I would say it falls in the same realm as like Solo. Um, the Solo's movie was actually, honestly, if the acting was slightly better, that movie would have been really good.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't mind Solo's story. At least it actually made sense going
but
through it.
that's it. The Last Jedi was like, oh hey, you guys just released this movie. How about we just take away everything we just talked about,
Yeah,
and
throw in the
then
trash.
they the third one that they came out with, they kind of redeemed themselves, but they're so far in the hole that that's kind of a hard redemption to make.
Yeah, big time.
Like,
And I don't blame J.D. Abrams for that at all. Like it's like I mean only partially. It's like they had to play with the hand they were dealt,
yeah,
and it was not a good hand. It was a bunch of cards offsuit.
yeah.
Pretty much like yeah.
But I mean, it had some cool scenes in it. It had some,
Mm-hmm.
the acting was decent. I
Yeah.
mean, I still have this weird hate for
Unfortunately.
the newer version of Luke Skywalker because it's not Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker. It's Mark Hamill playing Mark Hamill. Um,
Yeah, actually, that's a good way
so
to
it's
put it.
like, him in that movie was like, okay, I'm like, you're just this quirky version of Luke Skywalker, which wasn't the same one from before, and I get it, character's age and stuff like that, but I think that was probably like, he's like, let me play the character how I want, and I'll come back for it. And it turned out to be like, okay. It's just a little weird to me. But yeah, like, I mean, it's not like he's a bad director by any means, or a writer. He's not a Star Wars writer or director.
Exactly. It takes a special kind of hand to do that kind of thing. It's already well established. There's a reason why Star Wars is famous for what it is and how far it's gotten. Why Disney would pay $4 billion for it. Like, so do you think that they take into consideration you don't get to just take your own and do whatever the hell you want with it unless you intend on screwing it up intentionally?
Well,
Like, it doesn't work that way exactly.
and I think that's why
So
with the Star Wars shows that they're running on Disney Plus now, they're going very hand in hand. Like, George Lucas is working with Jon Favreau to create the universe, to work together
yeah,
to, and I mean, so far with the Mandalorian, it looks to be absolutely stunning. Like, the
yeah,
storyline, the visuals, the way they shoot it is amazing. The acting is like just everything about the Mandalorian is actually really good.
Yeah, because you have Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas on.
Yeah.
It's freaking brilliant. You have the minds who understand each other, who can roll off each other's things. Like, yeah,
And I mean, Jon Favreau, in my opinion, is one of the reasons the Marvel Cinematic Universe kicked off as well as it did.
exactly. Yeah, like as we've talked about, like DC to compared to Marvel before. I'm not sure it was in the podcast, but where it's like there's different reasons as to why, and Jon Favreau's probably a big part as to why Marvel's so much more successful in their own cinematic universe than DC is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He just has the vision for it and knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, like he's impressive, and I mean, I really like him, and even the movies he acts in, he's really good, and he's funny, and but like, he's got a great mind for shit. It's impressive.
He really does broad range, and he does so many different things, so many different roles, so many different positions in film. Like he's has done and does it all. This is probably why he does so well at it.
Well, and yeah, that's exactly it. And then I guess with that we can go on to more nerdy conversations. And I guess plays into the whole Mandalorian thing. The casting of the Last of Us TV show. Pedro Pascal is playing Joel, so the main character from The Last of Us, and Bella Ramsey is playing Ellie, which is Leona Mormont. That's how you say her name. Yeah, I believe so, from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, something like that. The leader, the little girl leader of the one house. Later in the later seasons.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. That I honestly didn't think that was actually going to be a thing when I first heard it announced. So that I'm really stoked on that. Like with me, because I'm not a PlayStation player. Like I've owned PlayStations, but never got into The Last of Us. I owned 3 different copies of the original Last of Us.
Oh really? Yeah. See,
never played it.
And I've never played. Oh really? You haven't played it? Okay, I haven't owned it and I haven't played it. So at least I'm a little bit more.
Yeah, I've watched a full playthrough on Twitch. Actually, that was one of the first things I actually sat down and watched on Twitch was someone doing an entire playthrough of The Last of Us.
Cool. Yeah.
But like, I'm excited to see what they do with that, and the quality of TV shows now that are coming out is just insane. And
yeah, like seriously, this is Hollywood movie quality, and that's what you get in TV shows nowadays. Yeah.
And then with that as well, Tom Holland is playing the lead character in the Uncharted movies. That's kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And also, of course,
yeah, it's been around for a while.
Yeah, and so I think they finished. I think they wrapped the Uncharted movie already.
I think they did, like at least the filming side of it, and obviously, so you have the editing to do left. Yeah, so that's good, especially nowadays that they were able to pull that off. But I think that was a pretty good casting choice too. Like Tom Holland's a good actor. He does a lot of good roles. If you're looking for a younger Nathan Drake, then that's good. Again, haven't played it, familiar with the concept of Uncharted. Clearly, PlayStation knows what they're doing when it comes to making movies. So that'll be good to see. They probably do lots with that. Like he's a British actor, but obviously he plays a lot of freaking roles that are
American.
That are American, like Spiderman. Obviously, you have Nathan Drake. You have the one Netflix original one. The what is it? The Devil. I can't remember. Somebody knows something to do with the devil. The devil, I don't know. Basically, he's got a southern accent in that southern United States accent.
Like southern drawl kind of idea. Yeah, I don't know what that one's called. I still haven't watched that one, and I've been.
Yeah, it's a very good show. Dark as hell. Like seriously, messes up your head a little bit how fuck the world is, but I thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah, I've got to give that one a watch. Yeah. And I mean, Tom Holland. Speaking of that, right? He's the Spider-Man movie, right? The one that's supposed to be the multiverse and all that other fun shit that they're bringing out, which is kind of exciting.
Glad they're doing that. And like I think, I that's brilliant for everybody too, because now Marvel gets a bigger piece of having the old actors in it than they never did before.
Yeah.
It was all Sony, and then like that will probably go. That might actually go down as the most like highest grossing Marvel movie. I have a feeling to that. Like the Avengers could be high up there because you have all these ones, but now you're bringing back all 3 like Spider-Man and maybe other ones too, throwing in the mix.
Yeah.
That we're unaware of currently. Like that's a big deal. Like a lot of people love the original Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire. I know I do for the most part.
Yeah, right.
Um,
The
so
ma-
that's really freaking cool.
well, and with me, like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, like, they're all right to me. But the first trilogy,
Yeah,
those
I
were
mean,
the like some of the first movies that got me into superheroes, and
mhm.
I was obsessed. Those and the original X-Men movies. So that, like, I mean, had a lot of fun with that growing up. And then the Amazing Spider-Man, I was like, okay, it's all right. But it's because it came out at the time where the MCU was full bore kicking and like dominating everything. So it was like, if you want to watch a superhero movie, you go watch the MCU.
Yeah,
And it's like the Amazing Spider-Man was kind of trying to compete with them, but there was no grant. They couldn't. Like, there was no way.
no,
But to bring all
no.
of
So they
them
weren't.
back at
Yeah.
one go is going to be crazy. And it's
Hmm.
also weird that they did Into the Spider-Verse, what, 2 or 3 years ago.
Hmm.
And that is one of my favorite all-time favorite animated movies because it's just so good, well put together.
Yeah,
The animation styles are
yeah.
really good on it.
So good. Yeah.
I mean, let's hope they try to figure a way to bring that into the whole shtick with the multiverse, because that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Hopefully, they do. Yeah, and have connect shout outs to those different ones and stuff like that too. That'd be super cool. Whatever aspect they do. Like I'm glad they're bringing so much back to it too, because they already announced before the guy who plays and will be playing Doctor Octopus and Spider Man 2
Mm.
is in it.
Oh wow! See, I didn't know
Um,
that.
oh yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much confirmed. And apparently, just recently, this past week, what's his face? The guy who plays Green Goblin in the first one.
Oh,
He
William
was
Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. He was apparently spotted on set. No idea what that's about, but could
Wow,
allude to the fact that
damn.
he's probably there to some capacity. So that's really cool because he's a freaking amazing actor, and he made a great Green Goblin too.
Yeah,
So if they can bring it all back and some like I'm not sure how they're doing that exactly because he's dead in that after the
yeah.
Spider-Man movie, of course. So and same with Doctor Octopus. So I don't know how those timelines mix exactly, but
But
curious to see.
it'll be very cool. I mean, hey, let's just hope we get a Nick Cage noir Spider-Man. Okay, like,
Yeah, that was surprising when I saw that too. I'm like, that's Nick Cage, is it not? And yeah, sure enough, it
yeah,
was.
like
Like
when
that
I
was
when I
actually
first seen
pretty
that,
freaking funny.
instantly I was like, oh my god! I'm like, I need either a full movie or them to do like a short, because like I think that was an amazing performance of his, like, and just the animation style. I think everything played so well into that. That, like, in my opinion, kind of stole the whole show in
It,
that.
it
Like, there's parts of it
pretty
where I
much
was
did.
like, damn. I'm like, just the fun satire humor in that was really good.
Yeah, yeah. Get a live action Spider-Man noir, Nicolas Cage. I mean, yeah,
Oh my, you're
pretty
right,
good.
really cool, and that'd be like
Yeah,
that'd be something, honestly, even if just Sony did it and they were like, hey, it's like kind of a funny version of Spider-Man, and that way they would just make more money off of it.
exactly. It's half the movie as well. At least that, so it's they very well could. I mean, very well might likely might. Like, there's so much you can do with that, like spin-offs of other Spider-Man or whatever, because Spider-Man basically rivals Batman in alternate versions of the character.
Yeah,
Which, if anyone's unfamiliar to, there's a lot of versions of Batman, different timelines and different things, tons and tons of comics to that effect. And Spider-Man probably does just as much of that in Marvel's own universe too, of different versions of Spider-Man. Um, I'm so curious to how what they can throw in
hmm
there, at least touch upon. Maybe you don't even see the characters talk, but they're referenced, or you see them through a portal or something like that, and you see who's there on the other side. Is all these mash of Spider-Man, might be evil versions or something like that. It'd be pretty cool.
Well, and I think it's gonna tie into the new Doctor Strange movie. Same with WandaVision tying into it, and
Right.
so that's how they're gonna bring all the
100%.
multiverse together. And oh man, I'm just excited. Like, it's gonna be,
Yeah. Smart.
and that's a good way to kind of bring this current phase into fruition, right? Like,
Hmm.
be like, oh look, we've got new characters everywhere,
Yep.
and like new renditions of the same old character. Like, I think they might
New
even use it.
characters. You could potentially bring old ones back.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've heard that they might use this to do the Ironheart, so the female Iron Man, to bring her into the universe.
Oh, It's a smart move, actually.
right? That would be pretty cool.
Because after Endgame, you need that. Yep,
But
that's just, a good idea. Yeah.
and I mean different renditions of things. The Justice League trailer got released, the Zack Snyder cut. Have you watched that yet?
Yes. I was waiting for that. I did. Yeah, I watched it last night actually, or maybe this morning. I think it was this morning. Um, yeah, that was cool to see. Full disclosure on that, and probably for the best. I never ever did watch the original Justice League one.
Are you serious?
Um, yeah, serious. And I'm a huge DC fan, or at least more so on the Batman side of it. But I never liked the new version of the Batman and stuff like that. Ben Affleck was meh. I didn't. I never watched Man of Steel. I didn't watch Batman versus Superman, and I wish I didn't. Um, but and Suicide Squad for the most part. But like, I don't know, just DC's direction in general has been shit. A lot of new stuff coming up that should be really, really good. But anyways, I digress. Um, so I haven't. So I like. I'm one of those few. I think I can go into it being a DC fan and go into it with for the first time to see a Justice League movie actually. By that comparison, so I have nothing else to compare it to. I think so. That could be a bit different. But yeah, long story short, yes, I did see the trailer, and it looked pretty freaking cool actually. I noticed the fun thing I did notice based on every joke I've seen from other ones is that there was that orange hue light
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of Justice League. Trying to give her from that filming effect.
Yeah.
That it gets made fun of. I didn't see very much of that in the trailer. Not very much, almost at all. So they almost took that out to make it more
Yeah.
more normal.
Well, so here's my thoughts. Okay, so I went to go see the Justice League in theaters, like right when it came out, because I love superhero movies, love everything superhero. It honestly wasn't as bad as it got reviewed, but it's also because like I'm there for it. I take it as it is a superhero movie. It's the same reason like I watch the Transformers movies. It's like they're actually not great movies most of the time, but they're like you go there for the excitement, the explosions, the fun shit, right? So I went to go see it. It was good. Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot about that movie. Like that's that's the thing is it was a forgettable movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard about it. Most of them were,
And
unfortunately.
I mean, I'm probably gonna give it another watch before I watch the Snyder cut because I just want to kind of like compare them. The fact that they ended the trailer with the Jared Leto cameo, which was kind of cool. And I mean, I still love him as the Joker. I don't really care what anyone says. I think he's one of the better ones. Even though
we
he's
talked about that.
part of a shitty version or a shitty movie. But I still think it's pretty dope.
Yep. I can respect that. I think he could have done I think he was not getting enough credit for the work he did. If you got a bit more of him to build up the character, I think it was just bad writing and how it was put together with him.
Editing, right? Like, so, and that's from what I understand is like he filmed an hour worth of scenes and he got 20 minutes of time.
Yeah.
And it was like
even like they released a lot of trailers with Joker in those trailers just to build up that hype. That should almost be like a criminal offense. You build up the hype because the trailers for the actual movie, and none of that's in the film.
Yep, exactly.
Cool.
And it's like it was so fucking weird, but I think they could have done way better with it. I think they fucked it up quite a bit. But hey, what can you do?
Yeah. Obviously, hopefully some redemption there. Filming that into it, adding him in, so that's pretty cool. It looks like it's a slightly different take on his Joker even already. Like he already looks different and worn out, at least in that. I'm not sure if he's in the movie in a different regard, but I think that's like the flashback thing of the movie or whatever. Like the nightmare basically, where but the Joker his Joker sounds different. Like he's burnt out, like raspy, not as refined, which is cool to see. Like it's a different version of his own Joker already.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, in my opinion, Batfleck is one of my favorite Batman. Like straight up, that version of Batman is great. Like the older, rugged, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you style is great. I love it. Well, I'm down. What are you gonna do? Like Christian Bale's obviously like the best Batman. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah,
But Batfleck
Yep.
is I think was good. I think it was just terrible writing that really doomed his character.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I really
He's not a
liked,
bad actor at all. He's a good actor.
well, dude, and even some of those scenes in the end of I almost said Spider-Man versus Batman, Batman versus Superman, where he's just in that like warehouse, just absolutely like just murking people. I loved that part, but it's like, there's a point where the writing kind of made all those DC movies garbage. Like, I mean, the first Wonder Woman movie was really really good, and the second one was like, it was okay. Like there was parts in it. I was watching it with the newser, and we were talking about it, and literally there's parts of it where it looks like a Sears catalog. Like it looks so fake and so overly
It does.
produced, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
That's a really good way to put it. Actually, Sears catalog. I mean, not existing anymore for us, but hey. But yeah, it's exactly. It looks exactly like you said, just overproduced and like too many effects to it that make it look less legitimate.
Well, in like the one scene where they like run into the, what's her name, the older Wonder Woman actress. In that scene where they're in the snow and it's like they're in that small little town setting kind of idea at the end there. You know what I'm talking about?
In what, in the first one? No, I
Second
don't. I
one.
haven't watched it.
Oh, you haven't watched the second one?
I haven't watched the first one either.
Oh
No,
my lord.
I don't know why.
Oh,
I'm a huge superhero fan. I'm behind on a few movies. I don't know why. I
damn.
really don't know why.
You can't even blame that on your YouTube. Come on now.
Oh, a
That's
little
all.
bit I can.
That was,
I'll blame it on you.
oh yeah, me. No, all that came out before this. Come on now.
Well, true. Okay, fine, true. But except not Wonder Woman 2. That one's your fault.
The Wonder Woman 2 can be my fault.
Okay.
I mean, it came out Christmas Day. You should have been at home watching Wonder Woman 2 instead of going to Christmas dinner when you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's good Christmas dinner. I want to eat and get presents anyways.
And with that, let's talk about this record-breaking cold all over North America right now.
Mm. Yeah, like what the shit, guys? What's going on, America? Why are you so cold?
Uh, all my
Trying to
American
take our flare? You're the new Canada?
all my
Jesus.
American friends and viewers are bitching at me because apparently I sent them our weather.
Yeah, I've heard of
I well,
it's duplicated.
I told Hoovy and Demi in our group chat. I was like, "Hey, it's either you move to Canada before it moves to you," and it literally moved to them. Like, it's crazy. They've got more snow than we do right now. It's nuts.
Yeah, like Debbie says, "Fuck this snow" in the chat there. Yep,
Yeah,
I bet you guys do.
yeah,
Because you guys aren't as prepared for it as we are in general. Because I mean, this everywhere, literally everywhere in the United States can get snow on
yeah,
a weird whim of weather, but it's not nearly as bad as this usually. Like my uncle in the Midwest United States, where they don't get snow, it's usually 30 plus 38 in the middle of summer there, and it is the coldest temperature they've ever had in recorded history where he lives. And it's colder there than it is here. Before the wind chill, mind you, but still, like it's like it's not built for this. He's used to Canadian winters back in the day because he used to live here,
mm-hmm.
but like that's like crazy. How do you how is it like it's really cold here right now? Like it's a sudden burst of absolute cold, and to have the United States be colder or just as cold, it's nuts.
Well, like last night, Hoovy messaged, or we were in a Discord chat. We were talking about shitty cold weather, and
Mm-hmm.
he was telling me it was minus 42 degrees Celsius there in Texas. In
That's
Texas, we
yeah.
were only minus 29, I think, or minus 32 overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
Texas
like,
is
that's
colder
cold.
than Alberta. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you guys became you guys are like because we always say like Alberta's the Texas of Canada. Okay, well now Texas is the Alberta of the United States.
oh man, and
So
and we're
yeah,
about to warm up too. So like today was actually kind of a nice day, and we're supposed to hit the positives by this weekend, and they're probably still
which
gonna have
for the
snow down there.
summer. Yeah, probably do just fucking yeah. You guys in the chat there, like what's your weekend forecast look like on your end of things?
Like, man, I'm just impressed. Like,
Curious.
one of my friends that lives in Tennessee Snapchatted me. He's like, bro, he's like, we're shut down for like a week down here, and he's like, And I sent him a Snapchat of our roads. He's like, dude, we seen that. He's like, we'd be shut down for weeks, months, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, obviously because of the snowfall and everything like that, they're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
So like everything, their electrical system, their piping systems, their internet, everything's just going down everywhere all over the States right now. And I mean,
yeah, it's not
it's crazy.
nice. I saw too, like even like in the NHL, like a couple games postponed because in Dallas, the Dallas Stars are because of the weather. You can't. It's not safe to bring up landing right now in general for that, if ever, in weather like that. And so, yeah, it's just
well, dude, from what I understand, in Dallas, like those games that are postponed, apparently Nashville's there. They're just not prepared to pull that much.
Oh, wow.
So apparently they're just not prepared to handle the power outage or anything in the arena if it goes out because all of Texas is going through power outages and shit, right?
I mean, they could just make a new outdoor classic in the middle of the street right now, couldn't they?
Well, I mean, I think they're doing that in Lake Tahoe coming up soon. So I mean,
yeah, they are.
Oh, who said we're dealing with stuff like our piping systems aren't prepared for this kind of weather. Many people don't have water because of it. Yeah, and like that's crazy. It's Texas. It's a desert. Like,
yeah, and that's bad. Like when you have like when it's cold enough to be one thing, but when you have no power without cold, you know, and lack of internet's one thing. But if you don't have your natural resources like water and power, like required, that's a whole new level of shit. Like screw the internet, you can survive without it if you have to. But if you're freezing and you don't have running water,
yeah,
I feel sorry for you guys, man. That's rough.
Like and it's like it seemed like because we got our cold snap like last week where it was kind of just shitty snow. Like dude, I have a heated garage and my battery died in my garage. Like it froze in my garage. Like that's it. The heater in my garage just couldn't keep up with how cold it was.
Yeah, like that's cold. Even at work for me, actually, we have the piping room where you control the main valves and stuff like that. It's adjacent outside for better or worse, and it got temperature warnings in there because it's too cold for the heat in there to keep it up. So the pipes in the whole place almost froze there, and then we put heaters in there, but then it's tripping breakers in other parts of the store because somehow we found out it's on the same switch as a couple of them. Because of that, because we had to put some space heaters in there just to make sure the freaking water doesn't blow up.
That's crazy. Shit, if the pipes in that place blew up, that would be tons and tons of damage.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I think that's probably why it's on the outside facing, so it shouldn't be able to get inside if it does blow up. But I mean, places without water, there's no sinks, there's no bathrooms.
Yeah, and so, I mean, shitty day for you. Like,
yeah, shitty day for me.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's crazy. And then, so I guess one of our things that we're gonna get into is that actually this weekend on Saturday we're doing a Zelda 35th anniversary stream, which we're doing a randomizer. Me, Fancy Antics, the gentleman over here, and our buddy Zigram, who's normally in the chat popping around, and we're gonna do a randomizer together. All three of us are gonna stream it, play it together. Just on my channel on Saturday. I think we said 4 p.m. MST is what we agreed on.
Yep. So we'll make that happen. Ocarina of Time Randomizer. Some people have seen that probably in the chat. A lot of people necessarily haven't. But absolute blast. It's the original Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the 30th anniversary, but every item is randomized. We got to see who basically beat the game for some modifications to what we discussed. And everyone's got a different version of the game modified, but you got to see them all at once and watch us, cheer in glory and rage in absolute agony.
And
I'm sure there'll be lots of that.
I had to warn Antics and Zigram that I'm like, hey man, if I just fucking lose my cool, I'm just gonna switch to chatting and just talk. I'm like, fuck y'all guys in your stupid game. Because I haven't played Ocarina of Time. I started playing it during COVID. And then I got to the water temple, and I literally just, for some reason, just stopped playing it. I didn't even get into the temple. And then...
Oh. So you haven't experienced that hell. Okay, good to know.
Well, no, I've experienced it in my past, but not in the last 15 years.
Right.
because like it was just something I did, and like the difficulty with it with me is like I did it all through an actual N64, right, on my massive ass TV. So like, just the pixels are like massive. Like the pixels are, I swear to God, like a foot by a foot. I've got a big ass 75-inch TV, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
terrifying.
So that just.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I
Oh,
did that
graphics.
this summer, so I kind of I remember a lot of the controls and a little bit of the starting stuff. But when it comes
Right.
to randomizers, I've never done a randomizer at all. And so I'm kind of excited for it. I've never even really watched a
Yeah.
whole lot of randomizers, so
Yeah. I've seen only a couple of them, and I see some. There's lots of different types you can do. People doing races, and there's world records and certain things of doing it, stuff like that. But the fact you can customize it like in so many different ways, um, is great. And back to what Goose said as well too. Like he if shit happens, he might switch to just chatting. One other thing he said too is he's got to keep his viewership up on it too, which I think should be a problem. This should prevent giving the anniversary of Zelda. I'm sure Twitch might even make a point of it. Um, so definitely need you guys there to check us out, to view us, cheer us on, laugh at us.
and
Keep it up.
we're
It's
also
gonna be
doing
a hell of a
sandbags,
blast.
so you guys can use channel
Oh
points
yeah,
to sandbag each of us. So there's gonna be a sandbag Zigram, there's gonna be a sandbag Fancy Antics, there's gonna be a sandbag Trap Goose. Um,
hashtag sandbag stoop.
yeah, exactly. And there's gonna be a point where my switch to just chatting. We literally all have to put our controllers down and just sit and talk for 5 minutes. So it's essentially a
Yep, that'll
sandbag
work.
all for 5 minutes. So that's kind of shit we're doing.
That's good.
As well, something we need. Um, we Zigram actually came up with this idea, and it's the character
Oh
names.
yeah,
He wanted you guys
yeah,
to suggest our character names. So one for me, one for Antics, and one for Zigram. Um,
yeah.
so if you guys want to help us with that right now, we'll make sure we get that done for Saturday. And
Throw it in there in chat.
yeah, leave it in the chat here for us, and we're gonna go off of basically what you guys want our names to be. So obviously nothing, ridiculous like no curse words, no homophobic things, no racial slurs. But we're down
Yeah,
to have
stuff because it will appear on Twitch. So
exactly. So we're down for suggestions on that. And I guess while you guys come up with names on that, like everyone in the chat right now, just start coming up with names for Zigram, Antics, and I. And we're gonna go into our next lovely segment that we actually got suggested by one of our viewers slash friends. It's the whole would you rather. So basically, it's just a big game of would you rather.
yeah, classic.
Um, and we're gonna see basically would you rather. So the
Okay.
first one that we got, would you rather fight 50 fourth graders or 10 high schoolers?
50 fourth graders or 10 high schoolers.
Yeah.
What grade high school we talking here? A variety, all
Y-
three grades.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we're gonna go like 9 to 12 kind of idea.
Okay. And not to be an insensitive dick here, but guys and girls.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, it's a variety of everything. Okay, so no, it's pure randomness. Okay. Um, I think the high schoolers, because a
Really.
large that's four times the amount of kids. Like there's a lot of them. Like you're not as good at fighting as a kid, but you have a lot of you. You can a lot of claw, a lot of. I feel like the high schoolers you can use that teenage anger them.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw it right back at them. Maybe turn them on each other. Um, and shit.
He called your mama hoe.
Exactly. What? And then
Yeah.
throw a right hook to the side of the face when you get that opportunity. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to. I think it would be a bit more tolerable. You could fight, but just being. I think you just get piled on by a bunch of kids. You get, if you're a good fighter, you to some degree you might be able to hold off for longer. Like if we're talking survivability, I think you'd last longer at least against the high schoolers. To me, I don't know what you think,
Oh,
but
oh, see, I'm the opposite. I think I would take the 54th graders. Like the
really,
thing is,
okay,
okay, think about it, right? They are short. They're like what, 4 feet tall.
yeah,
They don't have a whole lot of strength. They're less intelligent. So
Mhm.
I mean, you could just start swinging, and you could pick one up and literally yeet them into others. Like high schoolers, you got 10 of them, and and if they're coming at you at the same time, you're not stopping that. Think about it. Like I'm not much of a different size from what I was in high school. Think about it. Even if you throw one of me in that group, someone's getting hurt. And you think you can turn them on each other, but when you give them that goal, be like, "Oh, this old dude just said your mom's a hoe," you know. That's where the angst is gonna come in. And be like, "Oh, this old guy thinks he can beat all of us young guys," and high
That's
school
true, but
girls
you
are
may
savages, man. They'll scratch, they'll pull hair, they'll bite,
shit.
they'll
Yeah, you might have a point.
they'll post some
Mm.
mean shit on social media about you.
Yeah, that's the worst right there. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will fucking kill me.
Exactly.
Uh, yeah. Oh my
So
god.
you still sticking with the high schoolers? You think high schoolers is gonna be the go-to?
Feel less bad about hitting a high schooler than a kid.
Oh, dude, they're
But now
still
that you mention it
underage.
too,
Either way, you're gonna go to
oh, yeah,
prison.
good point.
You may as
Yeah,
well.
the prison sentence is mandatory. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, yeah, I might have to switch to another one. Maybe a little bit angry. Maybe it's not all about the volume. Like, the little kids will cry a little bit. Maybe they'll run off. Maybe
Yeah.
they get a good throw in there. They might just keep going as high schoolers. You know, the hormones and shit.
Yep.
Um,
Dude, some of them might
yeah,
have better beards than we do.
it's true. Some of them do. A lot of kids in high school had a lot of fish, like ridiculous amounts of
You're
facial hair.
right.
Yeah,
Demi the drag queen says, "Motherfucking yeet them,
yeah. He's all this way.
bro.
He's ready for this one.
Bro, play bowling. Grab
Uh,
one and yeet them into others coming after you." Dunuser says, "I saw a
never
fight.
threw that. Your mom's a hoe.
Saw a fight where a chick peed on the other one after punching her out. What the fuck? That's fucked up."
Oh, wow. I
See,
mean,
telling you, high school.
that's
No,
like a
I don't
kid
want this.
teabag right
We're
there.
gonna just.
Oh, hey, okay.
I am beating those fourth graders' ass though. And if you get a weapon, even
Yeah,
better, bro. Like, you
that's
give me
true. And
a baseball bat,
yeah, 40 of them. Some of them are allergic to peanut butter. Just bring a little, have some on your hands and spray your
bro.
with
You just get a
some
melted jar of peanut butter,
top.
and that's your weapon. And you just pour it in a ring. So even if they're coming in, they'll slip on it, and And the ones that
It's
are allergic, it'll
flawless.
kill them.
Flawless.
See, you don't even need a bat or anything. It's less effort. They're gonna fall into each other. You're good,
Yeah. See, I'm more confident now that we have a strategy towards this.
right?
Yeah.
And if it was like us two versus 10 high schoolers, I'd feel confident we could take the high schoolers. Easy.
That's
But
true. That's like 1-5 for each of us. Yeah. Yeah. I'd be more confident with that.
but the fourth graders, man, that's where we gotta just yeet them.
Yeah.
And our next one, would you rather have more time or money?
Time. Definitely time.
Time.
I don't know. I had to think about that. Time, like money's good and stuff like that. And I'm already at the point I don't like. I like to have a lot of money. I'm good with it, but I'm not. I don't. It doesn't. It's not entirely like useful like and stuff. Like I was nowadays, especially like doing my channel, podcast work, and all that stuff. Like there's never enough time in the day. Always something like
Mhm.
I don't get done. Like having more time for every single reason. I mean, having more time could mean you have more money because you're able to do more things.
Mhm.
So, and even if it did, even if that's taken out from this question, it automatically means you don't make more money, like whatever. But to be able to get more stuff done in the day, like it just feels like as you get older, the days are so much shorter because you're always doing something. What do you think?
With me, I'd see. I don't know. I'm kind of a selfish cunt, and I like money.
Like, you can be
So,
selfish and want time too.
well, yeah, but like, I don't know. I feel like the time I have now, if I utilize it properly, I could um with the time I have now, I could make as much money and still do a lot of the shit. Yeah, there's gonna be some times, but I'm thinking the way I live my life now. By the time I'm like 40 or 50, it's like, oh shit, I'm living on a beach, chilling, not worried about shit. So then I'll have all the time in the world because I worked my ass off at a young, right? And if you just have time and you don't have
Yeah,
money, you can't, like, yeah, you can have time, but you're gonna be poor. So, or I mean, not necessarily poor even. You can just work your regular everyday job and just have a lot of time to spend with people, and it's what's important to you. But I feel like if you work now while you're young and your body can handle it, you can make up for it later in life.
Maybe so. I mean, I'm still single with time, but like, and you can make it. Yeah, sure you can. But if you had more time in the day, even if you didn't for that person, you just want to work a 9 to 5 job your whole life, that you'd still have a lot more time in the day to do everything else. Because if you want to flip them on themselves, um, time can get you more money, but money cannot buy you more time.
But it can if you retire 20 years early. That is more time. Because
I don't
even
know. Even then, though,
even if you
let's
go to
say you're
your
retired and you can do whatever the hell you want, it still probably you will still feel like, man, I wish I could have still done more today. Even though you have all the drinking pina coladas, it's like, damn, if I had more time, I could have had 5 more pina coladas.
fair, but if you don't have money, you can't afford those pina coladas.
Shit, you need both.
So at the end of the day, the answer to that question is we need both. We need more time, more money, more problems, more time. Well, you become lazy. Um, but like in all reality, I don't know. I think I mean, well, my donation alert, right? Think about it. They say money can't buy happiness, but look at the smile on my face, right? It's money. Money doesn't
Exactly.
buy happiness, but it buys jet skis, and jet skis make me happy. Uh,
Yeah.
hang on, we got stuff going on in the chat. We got Hoovy and Demi the drag queen being super mods in our live chat, so that's good. But they said, "Where's our paycheck?" I'm sorry, it's in the mail. It'll get to you in 6 to 9 weeks potentially. Um, and well,
I think the real payment is the friends you make along,
yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Come on, we're giving you our time, not our money.
Yeah. See, guys, isn't that swell? Oh yeah, payment and emotion. Look at that love and friendship. Ooh. Quick, next question. Oh my god.
And I guess with the next one, would you rather have a rewind, a pause, or a fast forward button on life?
Do you want to pause or fast forward? Definitely not fast forward. Rewind.
Rewind, hey?
Yeah, rewind.
Like you make a
Yeah,
mistake and you
yeah,
can go back
rewind.
in time.
Pretty much that reason. Yeah, it'd be just always little things, either little things or big things. Stock market things is a big one, obviously. You make a bad move, you want to go back. Yeah, like that would be great. Pausing to take a patience and take a breath is okay. I guess, but still, just the uncertainty. But if you want to be able to fix things in the past by rewinding stuff, or even if you couldn't change them to be able to relive certain, it has to go the exact same way or
Yeah,
something like that. I would still think it would be worth it. But going forward in time just to speed up the process of your own death and to get to something that's, yeah, definitely rewind it.
yeah.
Even to just relive the same moments over again.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. Rewind definitely.
Hey,
Uh, but before that, I would have been like, oh, let's fast forward, you know. But I've seen Click with Adam Sandler, you know, like he fast forwarded his life and is like, oh, fast forward until my next promotion. And then 20 years goes by and he finally gets his promotion and his life has gone to shit and he's on autopilot the entire time. And it's like, you know, I wouldn't want that. I mean, it would be nice to be like, oh shit, I don't want to drive to work today. Oh, cool, I can just hit this button. Look, I'm at work. But it would be the things like you make a mistake, you forget to like plug your car in and it's snowing outside. You can rewind to go plug your car in, kind of stock market things. It would just be a lot of. It would be an easier option, and I mean, depending on how well it could be used too. If it was like you use one rewind per year or per day or something like that, like if there's limitations on it, even it would be worth it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you had even then, yeah, totally.
Um,
Even if the option was to just rewind once, I'd do. I'd pick one thing. I'd do it.
right? And I guess then on to our next one. Would you rather hear or lose hearing or sight?
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Which one would I rather lose?
Yeah,
Hearing.
really.
I'm actually terrified of losing my eyesight. Absolutely fucking terrified. If I have a fear of anything, it's that.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I like seeing people, the way people look, just seeing color, seeing like just the beauty of the world and different things, good and the bad and stuff like that. I like having all the senses to be fair and stuff like that. Even all out of all five senses to lose, I would not lose my. Um, so I'd rather lose green.
Really?
Um, yeah, like it's just yeah, just I think I mean I couldn't watch you know um couldn't see you no, but and couldn't play games and stuff like that even if that was that important. Yeah, it's slight blindness even is just is a worrying thought in my head. Hearing you can being deaf it would suck too, but there's still so much more you can experience with eyesight over the ability to hear.
See, and if it was just randomly losing it, now, I would definitely go losing eyesight
Really?
because one, I've experienced colors. So if someone says this is red, in my head I can picture what red looks like, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And the inability to listen to music for the rest of my life, it would be what gets
That's
me.
a tough one too, for sure. Hmm.
I mean, with movies, you can watch a movie, but you wouldn't be able to hear it. Think about watching Star
Yeah.
Wars without the soundtrack.
John Williams.
Exactly. Think about it. You would
Um,
never hear that. That takes away the experience of the movie.
true.
So you'd be able to see it. Oh, it looks
It
cool.
does.
You would kind of get the gist. You could read the subtitles, but it's like it takes
Yeah.
away the locking you in. You could watch a movie and just listen to it, and you'd be able to capture kind of what that movie's about.
Yeah. Uh, you make a good point because you definitely exactly audiobooks are a thing. You can listen to a movie, you can hear the emotion and the music that comes from the music itself or the people, rather than just watching it with subtitles. Is a huge difference. Big thing I don't like. Why I don't like watching anime with just subtitles. If it's Japanese, it's just it
I just don't
explains
watch
things
anime.
big time to me, and that too. But like, it's a really good comparison to ever suggested. If of the five senses, those are the two hard. Those would be smell, taste. Wouldn't be great either.
Oh,
If
dude,
or
I
sense of
could totally
touch,
handle.
fine.
Touch is one that I could just whatever. It's like if I could still have
Yeah,
access to things that I just can't feel it when I touch something. Whatever I can see, I touch something, right?
yeah, and that's a common sense to lose. So yeah, exactly.
Um,
But and same with taste and smell. They're great, but not as important as hearing or seeing. So it's a good point. Like I partially agree with you a bit more there. Like where if you lose your hearing, you lose all the experience. And so I think movies would be if I was talking about a movie, I'd rather see it, but to be able to see everything in the world as it is, it's still the trump
I,
because I don't like you want to see like a beautiful forest over the edge of a cliff or something like that. You can't hear that.
but you could.
You can hear some birds chirping and some wind blowing, but you can't hear. It wouldn't tell you what's going on. A movie can figure out. You can picture something in your mind based on the sounds you're hearing. But just overlooking a forest, something like that, like some natural beauty, I like that kind of thing. And you can't hear that. Not the same way you can see it.
Valid, and I mean, I guess like with me strictly, it would be the music aspect of everything or talking to people. Being able to hear someone and talk to someone is more important than seeing them. Like, I mean, I don't do a podcast with you to look at you, right? I mean,
What?
I know, right?
My life is a lie.
Oh,
Shit.
hang on, we got some response in the chat. We got see, Demi the drag queen says, "See, I'm an artist. I need my eyes, but also music is my life as well. So this is hard." And Hoovy says,
That's a tough one.
"I'm trying to decide would I rather go look at Goose or listen to Goose." I mean, hey, makes sense. Then
If
if
you put it to a straight Twitch thing, I if it's a straight like hearing trap goose is a lot of the is the the emotion he drives to it. So I'd rather lose eyesight for that, I think. Actually.
Well, yeah, and I'm kind of funny looking, right? So, like, you could just imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that too, but I didn't want to say it.
But, no.
So, I mean,
definitely,
even if you're the best looking guy out there, no. But
I prefer the listening aspect of Twitch over the watching. Like, if I'm doing something, I will actually just put on someone's stream and just listen to it, or a podcast and listen to it. And then on that, Ipsy says podcasts are lame. Well, screw you, Ipsy. And apparently there's a podcast section on Twitch, which I didn't know about, so congratulations. Thank you for telling me that. Shout out to Ipsy Lorem for telling us that there's a podcast section on Twitch. And
hey, I didn't know that.
Debbie the Drag Queen says, I want to look at fancy. Don't forget the ugh.
Well, there we go. Okay, so if he had a choice, he has to see me, not hear me.
Yeah, fair.
Thanks, Demi. I appreciate that. I'd rather not lose both when it comes to Demi at all, though. I don't think life be complete if I can't have both of Demi. Seriously.
And then I guess what's our next one we got? This one's a really, really good one. It's really tough. Die before or after your spouse.
Before or after your spouse?
Like,
depends if you're the one who killed her.
Okay. You know what's funny? That's exactly what I said. These are all Danuzer's suggestions, and that was the first thing I went. I was like, well, if you kill her, I mean,
yeah, that changes things. You're hoping for that shit to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to earlier to lose out on the pain of it, I guess, because and it's a selfish way to look at it in a way. That is a hard one though, because you die earlier. It's assuming it's it's a good relationship. You die earlier, the other person's sad. They die before you're sad. And if you're gonna die anyways, I guess I'd have to, for our own personal feelings, if that's the point of this question, I'd have to say die sooner. I hope they're well off with whatever they get from you, like insurance and stuff like that. But if you're supposed to, especially if it was tragic, car accident or something like that, it was just sudden snap of the fingers. It's tough one. I feel bad for them leaving them like that at the same time, and then also feel bad if they die. Like it's a tough one. It's a tough question.
See, with me, I would say after, in the simple fact that I'm kind of cold and emotionless, so I feel like I would deal with something like that a little bit better. I would do what I do best and bring humor to it, which obviously isn't the best way to deal with all your problems, but I'd be able to look at it in a humorous way, and look at the bright sides, not the negative of losing someone. You just got to be like, well, I spent the good part of X amount of years with this person, and and I feel like I know I wouldn't be able to leave someone with those kind of thoughts, of being like, well, what is my life now? What do I do? I feel like I'd be able to handle myself better in those situations.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Chat says it makes it a bit of a difficult situation too.
Yeah.
Jamie says after easy. Someone says before, so she can take the feels, not me. That's where I would agree with him in that kind of sense.
Yeah, I mean, so you don't have to deal with the heartbreak.
It sucks that either person has to, but yeah. But if the question's to me, I guess I'm literally the person feeling it. If I'm gone, I can't feel anything anymore, so I guess that.
Yeah.
Selfish way to look at it, but it is what it is.
Well, that's exactly it. I see both sides of it, so it's like, it's kind of one of those really, really tough ones, and it's a really unique way.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the next one. Poor and work at a job you love, or rich and hate your job.
Poor and work at the job you love,
and rich
and hate your job.
Yeah. That one's really tough. That's
rich and hate.
Really?
Rich and hate, almost for sure. because I thought about that a bit too. Like, there's like if I like I'd love to if I had like if money was no object essentially. Like I'd love to have like a trading card shop, game shop, board games and stuff like that, and sell that kind of stuff, and interact with people in that sort of way. But there's very little money in that, especially nowadays. Like if I went to a shop live with the internet being a thing and everything, especially with COVID, like you can't like if money was an object, I'd love to do something like that,
Hmm.
just where you can just day in day out enjoy that kind of work. But I feel like that's the thing. Like you can't if it's a job I really loved does not pay well. I mean, if my dream job was to be the world's most successful brain surgeon, well then probably that because I'm both rich
Yeah,
uh love my job.
but you'd be a poor
But
brain surgeon.
yeah, in this case you would be. Then it's just sad. Um, but so rich and hate my job because yeah, you go deal with hardships at work and your job sucks, but like whatever, you trudge through it. I don't. Most jobs in general, you don't go to work and enjoy them. So you do it for the money. That's why you're there. So if I could make a lot of money to enjoy my life after work, assuming an 8-hour day job, I think that I would do that. If I had to choose between the two of them, hate my job uh, and and do that, I think I've just been with my whole life mediocre with my job and made pretty good money with it. So it's just like that and had some rough sides of my job too. So it's like I can put up with dumb shit for good money.
Yeah. Well, and
But not be able to.
with me, I guess like the only thing that would change that is how big of a money gap is it? Like, am I going minimum
Yeah,
wage to 200K a year? Because I'm taking the 200K a year no matter what job. You could be like, okay, you're scooping shit out of a sewer,
yeah,
and I'd be doing that for 200K a year.
mhm,
Or I could be doing
absolutely.
literally. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if I was doing Twitch full time, making minimum wage, I'd be happy. I would choose that
Mhm.
100%. But also, if someone came to me and was like, "Hey, you want to come scoop shit for a year and you make 200K?" I'd be like, "Fucking a, I'm in." Then I could just come sit and invest my money and turn that 200 into 500 to a million to. So it's like, it has its pros and cons, and if you have to do it for the rest of your life, that's where it kind of. I would want to do the job I love for the rest of my life, not a job I hate for the rest of my life. Because I mean, that will put a wear on your body, and sure you'll have money, but it's the whole money can't buy you happiness.
Yeah, it's true.
But I
I
mean,
agree.
it plays a part,
It's
but
a
it's not 100%,
it's a very good uh question actually.
right?
The chat seems to disagree with me mostly. Most people would, based on Ipsy's question or answer there. Porn work at the job I love because I'm spending 4 hours a week minimum
Yep.
at this place. It's a good point actually. You're working a lot of your hours. It's a third of your life really. Um, at doing that at least. So I can get that, but I don't know. There's certain things that I love doing that aren't ever going to be part of my job because they're very different things. And to be able to have the money to do those things to me, I think overrules it. That's just me.
That makes sense. So the things outside of work can make you happy while you have money.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of leads into our last one. Would you be rather be rich 400 years ago or poor in the current age? Like you'd
Like
be
400 years ago or poor in current age. So 1600s. That's a good question. I
um
think.
think about it.
I think. So go ahead.
So you'd be like, think about it. 400 years ago, you could be like royalty, being rich, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm leaning towards. I think if you're rich, and usually that's what that kind of rich means. 400 years ago, probably that. Like 400 years ago, you don't know what modern. It's not really a thing. That. Have you heard that? But yeah, it's 400 years ago, rich because you'd be the king, literal probably king of of whatever era. You have everything you need, people to serve you, that kind of thing. And I think poor at any age is a rough way to go. Sad. So I don't think I don't think the timeline matters when you're poor. Nowadays, I mean, sure, there's government support, but that's still um poor has never been a pleasurable experience for anybody or a choice people would want to have.
Well, now
So
what's poor? Is it like sitting at the poverty line, or are we talking homeless? That's the difference,
true.
right? If I'm sitting at the poverty line, I'm cool. I'm good. I would live in this age
Yeah.
because this age, being poor, you can still have a lot of shit. Back then, though, I mean, think about it. Like the diseases, someone coughs a block away from you and you're dying of the plague.
Good point. I didn't put that into consideration.
It's
Just because you're rich, you can't buy a cure. Yeah.
right. So I think I'd go poor in current age. Ipsy also says poor in current age because she's a woman.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Also, if I'm thinking literally with being a diabetic, 400 years ago, I'm dead. So money can't fix that. Yeah, that does change things. If you put, like, I'm just thinking based on pure humanity of it, then rich 400 years ago makes sense. But you throw anything else in the mix, like death and disease. Good point. Good point. Very good point.
You would be dead 400 years ago. That's simple.
Yeah,
You'd die a rich man, but you'd only be rich for a little bit.
I'd probably be drowned as a child.
Most likely,
but
because you're diabetic, you're broken.
Okay, whatever it is.
Ipsy says
the pigs.
Rich 400 years ago literally would just mean I'm married to my cousin, who's the king, and he's sleeping with 14 other women, basically. Damn.
Yeah, I guess they hit that nail on the head. No shit. Yeah. Unless you're in America.
Valid.
No, still the same.
Yeah.
That's pretty east. You'd probably be in Alabama at that point. In which case, you're definitely sleeping with somebody closer in your so.
Yeah, the southern states is a great place.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Ipsy's
really
from one of those cousin states, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
I think on that, that is actually the end of our podcast, guys. That is the last of our suggestive comments. Yeah.
Sure. Suggestive comments is over. Thanks for watching, everyone. Being part of this live one, surprise one that we weren't expecting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, on our the Antics and Goose show. Remember to comment for topics on that video. We just need more activity on the videos themselves, so we can pull off that for the content of the show. Just take a second. Anything guys pop on your heads. Throw it on there. Everyone's got a YouTube account. And only takes a second, because simply with that, that's the Antics and Goose show.
Yeah, and that's Fancy Antics.
That is and that is Trap Goose Gaming.
And make sure you guys tune in every Friday for our uploads on YouTube, and random Tuesday streams of the podcast itself. At this point, we are gonna do the one live every month at the end of the month. So the last Tuesday, which is next week, is we're doing a live one as well, and then we did this one live. So we're actually gonna look for a special guest from now till next Tuesday to see if we can get a special guest on to join our podcast with us.
Yes, that'd be great.
So if anybody's interested, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat, DM me or DM Fancy on Twitter. We'll get back to you, or just hit me up on Discord or anything like that, and we'll get talking to you.
Perfect.
See y'all later.
Thanks very much, guys. See ya.